Hello friends, welcome back to the Mothership. Today we're cooking up these fantastic looking little baby chicken pot pies. Let's get started. Guys, the pellet smoker that we're using is definitely a pretty cool backyard machine. Not only can we recreate an offset smoker or a charcoal smoker by using different types of woods, but we can also recreate an oven. That means that we can have wood flavor on a backyard oven, be outside when we're cooking, and basically turn into that easy bake oven that the internet likes to call it. That means that not only can we just smoke up meats, we can do stuff like baking. So these chicken pot pies are a perfect example. Before we get started, if you guys could do me a favor and drop me a comment down below of what you want to see me cook next. A like and subscription if you like this type of content would be also fantastic. And yeah, let's get going with the cook. Now first things first, if you've ever watched me do a chicken on the smoker, you know that I'm going to wet brine it. My standard wet brine is 4 cups water, 4 tablespoons of kosher salt, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and a garlic clove. Toss them all in, give them a nice little whisk. Then we're going to put the chicken in breast side down, throw it back in the fridge, then anywhere between 5 to 24 hours, depending on how long you want to brine it. I'm probably going to do about 6 hours for this brine. I don't need it to be overly salty. I'm more looking for the moisture retention on the smoker because our chicken pot pie is probably going to have some more salt in the flour and possibly in the filling as well. Sorry guys, I'm an idiot and did not hit record when I was prepping the chicken. Basically all I did was take the chicken out of the wet bath, completely rinse it off, take my handy dandy stand for my beer can, put a beer in there, plop the beer on top. Now as far as beer, I tend to use a lager. You can really use whatever you want, but I have found that hoppier beers kind of leave a weird aftertaste. So a lager is the way that I tend to go. Maybe at some point in the future I'll experiment with different types of beer, but for now, lagers are the name of the game. I have the smoker on at 250, and as you can see, I put our butter in a pan onto the smoker. May as well add a little bit extra smoke flavor, and when we baste it, that'll add some more smoke onto the bird. Since we're doing chicken pot pie, we're going to have a cover, obviously, with our dough. That's going to keep the smoke from permeating into the pot pie itself. So this is really where we're going to get most of our smoke flavor from the chicken and from the butter that we're creating right now. At this point, I'm just going to let her run at 250 till it reaches about 150 degrees. Then we'll bump the temperature up and begin basting. So let's let this bird do its thing. We're almost 3 hours in, and the fattest part of our chicken has yet to reach 150 degrees. This is a pretty big bird, so I'm not surprised it's been taking a bit longer. But I've gotten impatient, and I decided to start basting it in butter even before we hit that 150 mark. So I am going to keep basting it, and as soon as the fattest part of this chicken, which is between these breasts right along the bone, gets to about 150, I'm going to bump the temperature up to 350. And then I'm just going to keep basting it in butter the entire time. I wanted to see how crispy I can get this skin. It's more of a test for me, but as far as cooking it, we're a little behind schedule, but not too much. It's a big bird. We'll see what happens. Oh my goodness, guys. This chicken is looking absolutely fantastic. It has been on at 350 for about 20, 25 minutes maybe. And I have to say, the skin is way crispier than many chickens I've done on here. And I'm attributing that to starting to put the butter on at 250. Usually I wait for me to bump it up to 350, before I start to really put the butter on. But I think from now on I'm going to start doing that 225, 250 mark because this is maybe the crispiest skin I've had in a long time without using, baking soda or something else. So I think this is the way I'm going to do it from now on. Either way, I'm going to pull this off. We're going to let it rest and probably cool off a decent amount before we start to make our pot pies. Our chicken is cooled off, and we're going to start by heating up our butter in a cast iron skillet. Butter is melted, so I'm going to go in with our onions, and we're just going to cook these down until they have tenderized a bit. This is looking pretty good, so let's go in with our flour and maybe a little pinch of salt. We're just going to mix that up. Not going to cook it too long, I just want it to thicken up slightly. Now I'm just going to slowly mix in our chicken broth and our milk. Just going to keep whisking this, and the goal here is to get it to reduce just a little bit. I just pulled our reduced onion, milk, and broth, and I'm going to go in with our hot sauce, our chicken, our carrots, our peas, and our potatoes. And we gotta give this a nice mix together. Now this next step is purely optional. As you can see, I put some dough in here because I like my pot pies to have a bottom crust. It's not necessary. In fact, many people don't do that. They just put their filling in and then cover it up. But I put a base layer in, and now we're just going to spoon in our filling and have it come all the way to the top. With our filling in, the last step is just to put our dough over the top and then just trim it off like so. This isn't winning any awards for beauty, but I like it. I'm gonna fold it over the lip a little bit. And we're gonna wanna poke some holes in here, otherwise it's just gonna bubble up. So poke a couple holes in here with like a fork or something. I'm gonna do the other one. And we're gonna get the smoker up to 350 degrees right now. Our smoker is up to temp at 350 degrees. I'm going to let these run for about an hour. We're looking for a nice brown crust on the outside. I think in about a half an hour, I'm probably going to whisk up an egg and brush it over top, just to get me that nice egg washed look. But at this point, yeah, we're just waiting for it to finish cooking. All right, hour and 10 minutes later. This looks pretty perfect to me. We got a nice brown crust. I think it's time to pull these. They look extremely hot, so I'm gonna let them sit for 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes to rest before we dig into these suckers. As you can see, I cut the top open a little bit because this sucker is hot as the surface of the sun, but I'm really excited to give it the old chomp. This cook is taking a while. Smoking up the chicken definitely took a long time, and then letting it cool off and then get together the interior of the pot pies together. This took a while. I'm really excited. It looks really good. It's very flaky. Maybe next time I'll actually make my own dough, but I think it's time to give it the old chomp, guys. This is everything that I want it to be. I haven't had chicken pot pie in so long, and the crust is so flaky. You can definitely taste that smoke flavor. This is chock full of vegetables and potatoes. What a fantastic cook, guys. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. This was a ton of fun. I can't wait for our next cook. Guys, get out there and cook something fantastic.